we go. So just going to hit refresh now. Oh yeah, we have gone live. Okay. So I'm going to do a share of this as well. So hopefully, yeah, we are live streaming now. Now, this isn't a Python video tutorial on its own or whatever like it, but I'm actually going to do a comparison between Python and all other spreadsheeting programs, and the main ones are, so I should actually write it down somewhere. What have I got open at the moment? I've got this thing open, so new page. It's actually a drawing thing, but I can use that. Which is the dip. So we've got like Python basically, and for the most part of Python, we're going to be using pandas. So, and we're going to be comparing that to spreadsheets. And the three things that we've really got is Microsoft Excel. The next one is Google Sheets, which is an online, online really. And then there is, and Microsoft Excel, I'm going to say is still sort of like the leading version of them. It's still, I don't know, it's still better. It's still the best one of the three, although Google Sheets is quite good. And then there's a Libre Office calc, right? We sort of like praise them all, you know, which ones are which and so forth. I'm going to say that I'll start a new thing here just for the sake of it, but you know, just for the appraisal, that Microsoft Excel is like the leading, we'll call it the benchmark. Although others might argue about that, but Microsoft Excel is the benchmark. Google Sheets is a strong competitor, so you know, as we said here already, Google Sheets is online. So that's kind of like its thing. It does do, Google Sheets does do other things that Microsoft doesn't do. So strong competition. I'll keep it a strong competition, and it does, you know, over here I'll put move on to the next line. It's strong competition, but it also I've noticed it's got some extra features, does some extra things that Excel does not. And one thing actually that it does have is it uses JavaScript for well, here Microsoft Excel uses VBA. So this is Microsoft Excel is a benchmark application, and Google and it uses VBA for code. Right, now if we do use Microsoft Excel VBA, then our application turns into the file type actually changes to an XLSM, right? So it goes from that. So our standard application is an XLSX file, XLSX file. So this is kind of like the standard now. It used to be an Excel file, XLS file, now it's an XLSX file. And VBA changes it into that, and M stands for, I guess, macro. Now, Google Sheets, it's got all of that, but it uses JavaScript for macros. Now, what's the difference between that? Well, VBA is actually no longer supported. It hasn't been supported for a while, but it is embedded, but it's strongly embedded. That means it works, and it's like literally a whole ton of things that you can do with it if you are in that environment. But you are working in, you have to, in order to, like if you were going to run code, and the spreadsheet isn't really for coding per se, but you know, you often need to do code. If you are coding in VBA, you're within the Microsoft environment, and more importantly, you need to open up your Excel session in order to activate the actual code. So, you know, Google Sheets, it's online, so you can't run things like natively off the desktop per se. You have to sort of like open it up in a sheet, but it's got convenience because then you can open it from place to place and so forth. So there's all swings and roundabouts with this. And finally, Office Calc. It actually uses a whole bunch of different languages, but I'm going to say that, well, it's free, it's open source, right? Which means that it's free, right? Which is good. You can code it. It's got multiple languages. But compared to the other two, I'm just going to say it's incomplete. Right? There's quite a lot of things that when you run in LibreOffice that you're expecting to do in Excel or Google Sheets. Excel, like Google Sheets, came about way after Excel. But they just seem to have, and it actually came about way after LibreOffice as well, but it just seemed to have done a better job in giving the user a complete package. So LibreOffice Calc is just slightly behind on that, really, in terms of that. Now, maybe some people have mastered it and they've got a little bit better, but it is open source and free, and that's quite a big thing in a way. And actually, you know, Python, pandas, Python in general is, again, it's open source and it's free, right? But it's completely different. So the question is like, you know, where do you go between each one of these? Now, Excel is, you have to pay for it. It comes with Office, right? So it's not free, it comes with Office. So but it integrates well. Well, it integrates amazingly well, actually. So it integrates amazingly well, but it's a paid-for application. It's used. It is the benchmark. It's globally adopted. Google Sheets. Well, they give you the basic for free, and I'm just going to go into that because I've got a Google Sheet open, and it really actually annoyed me because I was going to do the comparison, and I don't actually have Excel on this desktop. I have LibreOffice Calc, and I also have Google Sheets, and I was going to use the Google Sheets as a comparison, and I was just trying to do one thing in like an application, and like I'd had this add-on, and I went to try and use it, and it charged me like £80 to use this add-on, and so I'll show you that, and things like that. I'll just say, you can use this spreadsheet as is given. You can do a hell of a lot of stuff with the spreadsheet as is given, but it's got lots of add-ons. But if you want to utilize them, you sort of like have to pay for the extra pieces here and there. So basic for free, but then pay for add-ons. So maybe you can get away with the basics, but anything that you want that's kind of like, you know, that does a bit more replication of Excel or something like that. There is a lot in the basics, but if you do want to have any extras, you kind of like have to pay for them. But then if you get good at JavaScript, you could argue that, you know, you could pretty much probably do most of those things in scripting if you were inclined to do so. Now, finally, we have Python, right, which is completely different. And Python in particular, we're going to use, you know, when we're going to do the comparison, really, it is pandas, right, which is a data frame. Okay, now a data frame looks like, so I should kind of like mention it's like, what is a data frame? But data frame is like one sheet. So data frame is like, is equivalent to one sheet of Excel. Notice I've used the terminology of one sheet of Excel, but it could have been one Google sheet or one LibreOffice sheet. So Excel. But it's just basically, it's one like kind of like table isolated on its own. But the advantage of Python is that it is and this is really the advantage, is you're not getting, like pandas is just one module. It's just one of like 200 and I think about 215,000 modules. Is that you're getting an entire ecosystem of a general purpose programming language, right? So you can run it on your desktop, and I have something for like running in the background on my desktop. I don't see all of the arrays and stuff, but then I can publish it to a website. I've got a separate website where the data of this is published to. I can like even pull it up and get it out here somewhere. There we go. So I can generate the charts in the background and do all of the analytics and everything in the background. And if it does work, there we go. I'm publishing, you know, the number of Bitcoin transactions that this particular algo, we can sort of like see here is done, I don't know, like just under 20,000 transactions, and like how many you've done last month. And you can publish it to a website. Now you could do that with Excel, and you could do that with all of the other ones. But you'd need to leave, like if you were doing it with like Google Sheet with Excel, you would need to leave the Excel thing open, the little Excel sheet open in perpetuity, which maybe you could do, because you could argue, oh, I'll just get a server and leave the sheet open on the server and let it do it that way. But this general purpose programming language kind of like is a better fit for doing that. You can have hundreds of these things, like scripts that are running and available, and you can see, like, you know, there's a whole variety of different things that I was able to do. And these aren't like the greatest in terms of, they're not the most interactive. I can make them a little bit better. There's certain different modules, so maybe I will actually list that, because really it's not just pandas that you have, but you've got the pandas data frame, you've got numpy, which is actually the underlying, it's what pandas sort of like sits on, is the underlying mathematics of it. So it's actually, and it actually stands for numerical Python. I should do a share, by the way, so I'm actually going to just hit the share button and share on Twitter. No one ever joins anyway, but I'll share on Twitter for the sake of it. There we go. And so that's a general purpose programming. So we were here, we had NumPy and it's numerical Python. It's all of the numerical stuff, and pandas kind of like sits on top of that. But you've also got one extra piece, which is at least that comes, well, it doesn't come, it's like these are known as the trio, which is matplotlib, right? Matplotlib, there we go. And if I spell it right now, kind of like maybe stands for math plotting library. So, you know, it's a math plotting library, and that's for plotting charts, basically, in simple terms. So, you know, some charts, right? And, you know, I guess again, you know, just for completeness, maybe I pull it up. I probably had it up somewhere, but matplotlib. There we go. Over here is probably the best way, and something matplotlib.org. There we go. Now there's other things that are kind of like, they've now started to. If I go to examples, we can sort of like take a look at it. You know, there's hundreds and hundreds of different things, and I think this is where. Also, Excel is brilliant, Google Sheets is brilliant, but they won't offer the capability that this matplotlib library Python offers. But we don't just have matplotlib, there is better things. And when I showed my charts over here, these were matplotlib charts, which was kind of like reminding me of, like, you know, what you can do. But you can already see this little circles with things on there, like then we've got bar charts, then we've got this sort of chart over here, then we've got another type of bar chart over here, then we've got a pie chart with radius, with hollow in the inside, and percentages and labels, and you can do a lot of this. Excel gives you this out of the box, but it gives you like a basic, and so does Google Sheets, and they give you them really, really fast, so it's really convenient. But the minute you want to do something maybe a little bit more complex, you're going to struggle. So something like this, you will struggle. And this is actually another application that is slightly better, so I'll add that on. But you don't just have matplotlib, you have another one which is it's called Seaborn, right, which is called more like a data science chart. That sits on top of matplotlib. But then is also now, because I came across it, which is Plotly, right, which is charts for the web basically, and it's actually from a JavaScript module, but it's also in Python. So charts for the web. Maybe I can browse through my docs and see if I've got a plotly somewhere and sort of like open it up. But basically it's an interactive chart. So whereas these charts, which are matplotlib ones, if I hover over it nothing happens. If I was to hover over the equivalent plotly chart, it's sort of like something will go in and you could like investigate it and go in. Now this swings and roundabouts with all of these things for all of whether you're using spreadsheets or whether you're using programming languages, or whether you're using like different variants of the programming language, which is that this chart is a relatively simple PNG file effectively. So I can sort of like launch, I think somewhere, if I click on it, it will actually launch the file. It's actually sitting in my Google Drive. You can see that there, and it's like an asset's held as a percentage. But it's actually, we can see that it's a PNG file, which is just a file, right? So it's a small image file there. So effectively a photo that you're looking at that gets updated once every hour. So that's not as interactive. You can't do anything with that. So you can do more interactive one, but the interactive one will just cost you a bit more in terms of it takes a few seconds to produce rather than like 1 second. It might take you 3 seconds to produce or 5 seconds. But also it will be larger in memory because it's creating an HTML file, whereas this is just creating a standard PNG file. So we've got that as well. So yeah, and again, like you can see, like I can scroll through this for quite a long time. There's a hell of a lot of things that you can do. Statistic, it's broken down in fact into subjects as well, I think. So just loads and loads of stuff. But the overhead for this is that if you want to do like a polar legend, like I dare you to try to do that in Microsoft Excel. Try and get this out in Microsoft Excel. You're really going to struggle. Whereas here you've done it in something like 20 lines of code. It's sort of like the base bit, and actually even on the 20 lines of code, all of this seems to be comments. So it's actually faster than that. Now, okay, programming languages you have to sort of like learn and so forth. Python is a really easy language to learn. But yeah, but they also, as you learn it, there's nuances and things, and sometimes it breaks in a certain way, and you've got to fix it, and that comes at a cost. So when I do go to, and I think it's time to, I'm going to go to my Google Sheet. And the first thing is, I wanted to make my Google Sheet as a XLSX file, but it doesn't do it naturally off the bat. So that's the first thing. Now I can save, so I can download and I can convert my Google Sheet into a Microsoft XLSX file. I can also convert it into a LibreOffice, which is the Office documentation type of file, so an ODS file. You can also convert it into a CSV file, which is a comma separated value file. That's if it's got no particular formulas in it, then that will be a CSV file. And CSV files are very, very useful in Python because you want to put them into a data frame. But a CSV file is basically the data. It's sort of like the results. It's either the input data or the output data. And a CSV file effectively would be something like this, which is basically a header column like that. So everything that's in row number 1 over here, and then all of the data underlying it. So here I've just got a bunch of numbers and a bunch of squares. Now here I've got formulas, so we can see over here if I do it, if I just go there, we've got a formula bar at the top, and the formula is 8 times 8, or I could have done cell A8. This cell over here multiplied by itself will give me the square, so that's 7 squared. Now a CSV file is the actual value 49, so it would remove the formula if you was to save it as a CSV file. So that's kind of like the difference. But anyway, it gives you those options, but natively you can't create a Google Sheets file. Initially it will be saved as a .g sheet in the Google Drive. That's what it would actually be, and that is a link to the website, so I can only open a G sheet in a tab on my browser. So just seeing that there's a disconnect and a reconnect. Right, okay. I think we're back and still live. I'm just going to hit test on here. Right, chat is disabled for this live stream. Why is that chat disabled? So okay, I might pause this live stream and restart the live stream because I've seen chat's disabled, but I just saw that my internet connection went down, and I don't know if that's what broke the chat facility. So I'm going to stop the live stream. But basically, we're going to be we're comparing this to we're going to compare this to a pandas data frame. And actually, one of the things, if I just pull this in, is we can see this. It's actually just running because I've passed the hour mark. It's doing some stuff. It's producing these charts. It's getting some data. It's pulling some data from the web, and it's doing a whole bunch of things. And this is doing it in the background, and that's Python, right? So that's kind of like the advantage, or where, like and the equivalent of this is if I was to go to the where is it in here, data, because I did actually a video on this. I wonder if it's inserts, no function, sheet, tools, extensions, yeah, macros, there we go. Not record macros, but actually a script, and you can create like your own script basically. I wonder if app script, app sheet, app script, macros, record macro. I wonder if it's this. I'm just going to go and click on them and see. Yeah, there we go. So I can sort of like run my script in. We can see that it's JavaScript. So JavaScript's a great language, by the way. So we're more than happy to sort of like code in that. Although I tend to use Python. Now, one thing that I will say is that finally, I guess because I might do the restart of the stream, is that Excel comes with, now I believe it's integrated, although I haven't seen it and I've got the latest version of Excel on my work, at work. It comes now with Python integration. So we could argue that if it does work, and I've not seen a working thing of it yet, and the things that I have seen aren't that great, it's all like use a data frame and do a little bit, but if there is Python integration, so possibly in the future, I'll put future because it keeps pledging me to be able to do it, but you've got some Python integration, so now you've got a general purpose programming language in there as well, so maybe that you can actually with Excel get Excel plus Python basically, so like for free, integrated into it, which is quite nice because the VBA, as good as it is not supported, whereas Python is kind of like a major language, and that might be more competitive to JavaScript. It's a major scripting language. So I won't knock VBA because I've used it for years and it's extremely powerful and very good as well on its own. So I'm probably going to stop this stream just because I saw that the connection dropped, and if anyone was on here they couldn't put any comments in the comment section. But I guess so far, at least, if you found this video useful, by all means like join up on the next one and you can post your comments. But if you did find this particular video useful, hit the like button, the follow button and the subscribe button. And even if you didn't find this useful, still hit the like button, the follow button and the subscribe button because it's quite useful. And also if you've got any comments as to like what you would like to see, because some people have put some comments in on things that they would like to see. I wonder if I've got Python like something open at the moment, Stack Overflow. Okay, that was from a previous video, but if I was to, and I might just do this really quickly, which is I might just to show, so like have fun. I don't even know what this, let's just take all of this and copy, it literally works out of the box when you do get it working. And I'll just make a new tab over here, and maybe I'll delete all of the old tabs. So I'll just call this general. Oops, why did that not type there? Let's try and type again. General matplotlib in Python, there we go, and we'll just delete this tab over here because we, Control Z, I didn't mean to do that. I'll just delete this tab if I can, delete that, and I'll delete all of the other tabs because they're not useful. and we'll even delete that little tab over there, and we'll just put in a little block of code and paste in that code. I'm just going to do a Control Plus. You can see that I've pasted the code in. This is all in green. It's all a comment basically, so I could even delete the comments. We see this is 20 lines of code over here, and I should be able to just run it. I'm hoping it will just work. It's doing its thing. You can see that it's taking a few seconds, but that's probably because it's launching something. The second time round of running it will be faster. But basically, here we go. We've done a full replication, and whatever this line space. Well, I know what line space is. It kind of tells us anyway. But I can go and modify this, and maybe I don't know, put in more data points, for example. So 600 data points. I don't know if I'll break it or not. Let's just see what happens. And not very much will happen because I've probably just increased the granularity of it. I wonder if I put in 30, maybe it will be like more spirally. Let's have a look at that one. Yeah, there we go. So we've got like more like this liney thing here because I didn't put enough data points. But the point is that we can do this relatively fast, and all I had to do was sort of like go along to pandas and kind of like, I just clicked in one of them. So let me just go back. There was a whole bunch of these things that was available. But anyway, this isn't just a matplotlib session. And it's not just a panda session, and it's not to say that one's better than the other, but really it's how to use them. And possibly just because I did a really quick comparison, here is the Google Sheets equivalent, and this is why it's fast, because I can do insert over here, I believe is it, and just do chart, and there we go. So I've got a chart with one click of a button, very fast. Now, yeah, I can go and customize the chart, sort of like edit the chart title, for example, delete, and so forth. I can also go and do a whole bunch of other things and customize and lines and series and legends and so forth. So that's given to when you become good at any of these, they're all really, really useful, and you might want to stick to the one that you've got. It's just that I guess good for one. It's sort of like it's got its use cases. Now this thing, for example, like one great use case is I can publish this straight to the web. So I sort of like go to publish chart, and I'll get this link, and I can embed it straight into a document. Now, if I ever update this chart again in the future, we'll automatically update in a document. So there's other things that are nice, and I can make it interactive, and I can do the image, which is sort of like the Python offering. So there's plenty of stuff that you can do, but one thing that like I couldn't do natively off the bat is sort of like rerun this chart all the time. And if I did want to rerun this chart all the time, I would need to have a script and sort of like keep it open, but I'm not sure that the tab would stay open, so it would break, whereas with the code, you can guarantee that. But I guess the final thing is you've got these power tools over here. And this is kind of like a little bit annoying, or I'll say disappointing from Google, but I understand why they do it. I was browsing around and I was like, oh, let's look at some tools, and I sort of like go to this quick actions tool, and I'll do like flip ranges or something. And what does that do? And like flip cells vertically, and it's doing its working things. So I think great, fantastic, it's going to work. And it goes to power tools over here, and then it goes for the subscription. And if I want to subscribe for a year just to use the power tools alone, not to use other add-ons, and it's hundreds of add-ons, I'd have to pay like 25 quid or whatever basically for a 1 year subscription, 25 quid a year, or I'd have to pay 80 quid just to get that. Now there's hundreds of add-ons and these things that you might want to do, so, and you might buy a one-off, so that's 80 quid, but then you have to buy another add-on, a one-off, and then another one, and it could end up costing you quite a few hundred quid. And if you're a sort of like home user, you're going to lose out on all of these. So I understand why they do it, because the person that created it, they need to make some income, otherwise what's their motivation for creating this? So that's basic, but really I guess it highlights the difference in the models. That's Excel's model, which is it gives you this like free base unit thing, and then you pay for the add-ons that you want, whereas Excel so it gives you everything but charges you an annual fee. It doesn't actually give you everything, because if you want to use Power Tools and Power BI and other things, again it's like an extra cost. But they give you a lot, and then they start charging you for additional features. But some of the additional features that you might want to use, which are like quite common and they'll be given to you in Python, you're going to have to pay for them here. So that's kind of like part of something worth mentioning as well. Anyway, I'm going to finish this at this point, but if you do like the video, hit the like button, the thumbs up button, and subscribe button, and I'm going to restart the video on a new stream because I want to be able to see if people do put comments in. It's useful, but you can leave comments afterwards and questions and so forth and what have you, and I will delve into that. So thanks for watching. Don't know why the stream broke. My internet connection must have been, but yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch up.